Halara attacks with a 1 Shien coin. Where it lands is carefully calculated for later retrieval.
Oh no, I got careless and ended up alone with Halara.
Oops.
I guess I should be the one to start the conversation. I'm the rookie, after all. But what do I say?
Do you feel awkward?
Yes.
Huh?
It's natural to strike up a conversation when two people are together. Such is the mundane way of the masses. You're overtaxing your tiny brain to do so, aren't you?
She's right.
Well, sort of.
Then how about you and I have a wager?
Oh god, no, she's gonna beat me.
But I thought the chief said no more gambling.
The boss said it's forbidden, so you won't do it. You think I can be swayed by that sort of logic? Besides, gambling can nurture skills that every detective needs.
How?
I believe it will be to your benefit.
And what sort of skills are you talking about?
Knowledge? Recollection?
Instead of always asking for answers, why not figure it out for yourself for once?
Yeah, think.
A skill needed by detectives, which can be trained by gambling.
Luck? Courage could work. Observation can work somewhat as well because card counting and things like that, and a sixth sense. So let's say observation, because that seems to be a little bit more logical.
Observational skills?
That's right. Gambling isn't merely decided by coincidence.
Yeah, because again, as I said, normally in games of cards, it's not cheating, but casinos aren't happy when you do that.
For example, in poker, you can study the cards already in play, as well as the expressions of dealers and players.
And poker, I completely forgot about poker.
You observe all that, make logical deductions, and commence battle. How about it? Wouldn't you agree those are the skills every detective needs?
I guess so.
I get what you're saying, but...
When are you going to stop nitpicking? After all you made me explain, you will have to play a match with me.
But there's no way I stand a chance against you.
Not to worry. We'll do a warm-up first, with nothing wagered. I'm not going to hustle a beginner straight off the bat.
Oh yeah, you already been hustling me.
Okay.
Heads or tails?
Yes, I beat you.
It was just a game of heads or tails, but still, you show some promise.
Logical deduction sounds like a lot of work. Hey! Are you calling me dumb?
Does that mean I have talent as a detective?
No.
Yes, you can say that for sure.
Oh.
Now the real game begins. First, let's wager. I think we should start with 10,000 Shien.
I'm already in debt to you!
Right. This isn't how it was supposed to go.
Don't be foolish. I lost the warm-up so you'd feel that rush, and mistake your own skill level.
I'm not calling you dumb, I mean it's easier to jump to conclusions. True. But still!
It's rather obvious I did it on purpose. I let you get carried away and made you take a gamble against me.
That's terrible.
Aw, you got completely hustled. You picked the wrong detective. detective to mess with.
I think that was a rather good learning experience. It's crucial for detectives to doubt other people's intentions, no matter the circumstances. I won't charge you interest for now, but you must tell me immediately when you've developed a payment plan.
Halara is totally ruthless.
Master, you and Halara seem to have grown closer.
Grew closer? No. I grew poorer, not closer.
You got some nerve stopping me. There'd better be a proper reason for this.
It's about something you mentioned.
Okay.
You developed post-cognition just 3 days after joining the World Detective Organization.
Yes, but I still had the gift of psychometry before I joined the WDO. What made you want to ask about it?
I can't help thinking about it. Do I really lack a forte?
You have that coalescence ability.
That's not exactly my ability. It's different, sorta. Anyway, I refuse to believe I don't have a real forte.
So you want to find out if you do?
So how will Halara help?
Yes, that's right. I figured you'd be the most knowledgeable about fortes here. If I have any sort of ability, you may be able to help me remember it.
Only if you were dead.
That's no good. There you go again, depending on others.
And again, I'd have to be dead.
Very well. That'll be 100,000 Xian.
Look, that's expensive.
100,000? I figured Halara wouldn't do it for free, but it's worth it if it helps me remember my abilities. All right. I'm a bit short at the moment, but I'll pay you back one day.
Good. It's a deal. I will provide you useful information as long as time permits. Now, let's start with the prerequisites. Master detective abilities are often linked with original talents and dispositions. That is typically the case.
Linked with original talents?
Don't even know what that means.
Take, for example, a master detective who can hear the thoughts of others. Prior to awakening that ability, they excelled at imagining what other people were actually feeling. A master detective who can create electricity may have had a tendency to emit static charges before that.
So how would coalescence have come to be then?
Oftentimes, you can catch glimpses of their power before their forte is realized. The prerequisite for my postcognition was psychometry. I was practically born with it.
Halara, you already started with such an amazing ability.
What's psychometry though? That's...
But how did you manage to get it in the first place?
It's hard to explain. Superior detectives like myself cannot be measured by a commoner's logic.
Oh, here we go again. Someone else who's up there. No. I don't need glasses. At all.
I see.
And they don't need to be pink.
Anyway, this is about your ability. Once we figure out your strengths and talents, we could at least predict what your power may be. That is, if you have one to begin with.
My strengths?
Well, it isn't cooking.
It has to be what you know best. Think about it.
I wouldn't know what colour I'd like. I just don't need them.
My strengths are...
You can cook. Apparently. I'd have to say I can cook, though.
I can cook, I think.
I may be getting paid for this, but I don't have that much free time. I will leave if you aren't taking this seriously.
Then it'd be my will, isn't it?
Sorry. My strength is...
Your will.
If I had to pick something, I'd say the will to never give up.
Yeah.
At least, I think so.
You actually said it out loud yourself.
I see. The fact that you haven't given up on your search for an ability is proof enough of that. A tenacious heart that never gives up. An ability stemming from that.
So coalescence came to be then.
Perhaps it could have something to do with immortality.
No.
Immortality?
That would be way extreme.
That's nothing but my theory, though. Even death cannot defeat you. Wouldn't you say that embodies the concept of tenacity well?
That's true, but there's no way to verify if I am or not.
No, cutie. But hi, Paige. Been a while. I hope you're doing well. There's no way to verify if you're mortal or not. Halara kills you.
Incorrect. You just need to try dying once.
Exactly.
Huh?
Don't look at me like that. I was joking.
It's really hard to tell.
Well, that should do it. Time's up. I'll excuse myself here. Don't forget, you owe me 100,000 Xian.
100,000, 5 million. So I would owe Halara 5,110,000 Xian.
Oh, wait! Halara's gone. I'm beginning to worry more about my debt than if I can remember my ability.
Master, you and Halara seem to have grown even closer.
Oh, it's apparently -2 down here right now. Is it -2? Oops, didn't mean to do that. -2 with real feel saying -4 degrees. Celsius.
This is medicine for the soul.
What, the rain?
What are you doing, Halara?
I could ask you the same thing.
The chief asked me to do some shopping. I just happened to see you, Halara.
I am not gonna do the Snippy. Snip. Snip. Please. No. No maths. No maths. No maths.
Why are you staring at cat pictures in the dark?
You were watching?
Wow, you really were looking at cat photos.
That was a bluff? You of all people?
No. But I have seen you looking at cat photos before. Do you own a cat or something?
No, this is just a photo of a cute cat. I find it calming, so I carry it with me.
Oh, really?
What? You look like you have something to say.
Blackmail!
No, it's nothing like that. I'm just happy to see a human side of you. I didn't expect you to be a cat lover.
Oh.
That's not surprising. I know full well it doesn't fit my image, so I hide my affection for cats. I hope you understand you are not to tell anyone about this.
Of course.
Right, I won't. But why do you like cats so much?
'Cause Halara likes cats.
It's none of your concern.
But you don't want me to tell anyone, right?
Is that a threat? You're really threatening me?
There we are. I was gonna say, here comes the blackmail from me.
No, that's not what I meant.
Well, it sounds like blackmail, but it isn't.
You've grown braver since the day I met you. The reason why I like cats isn't a simple subject. What do you think is the best thing about cats?
Huh? The best thing?
Freedom?
How free they are?
It's true that cats are free to do as they please. Cats behave freely with elegance. You could say they embody freedom. There are some who would call them selfish, but those words don't hold weight.
I mean, cats can be selfish.
Those who criticize cats are nothing but marionettes shaped like humans.
What is that supposed to mean?
I see.
But the freedom-loving nature of cats being their most charming quality is still debatable.
Are you even a cat if you're not selfish?
I've never seen Halara contemplate something so seriously. What's the best thing about cats? Their most charming quality. It's hard to choose.
Yes, exactly.
Huh?
There is no way to determine a cat's single greatest trait. The elements that comprise cats, the information they emit, all are equally valuable.
I see.
Moreover, I can list every charming quality cats have and discuss them in extreme detail. Let's begin with the obvious topics. For example, their fragrance.
Cats have fragrance?
This is bad. It's going into super obsessive territory. Maybe Halara is happy to finally talk to someone about cats, since this side is usually hidden.
Maybe.
You need to stop this soon, otherwise it'll never end.
If you like cats so much, have you ever wanted to own one yourself?
Oh dear.
That's...
Huh? What's wrong?
I think she did own one.
I'm allergic to cats.
Oh, maybe not then.
Oh.
For some reason, whenever I touch a cat, my skin becomes itchy. I've tried several times and it always happens.
Hives?
Jeez. Who made me this way?
I'm the same. I've got cat allergies. I'm not sure if it's the hair or saliva.
I see. It's a shame Halara is allergic to cats. To think a master detective has this sort of weakness, I can't help but feel sympathetic.
Is it a weakness?
Master, you and Halara seem to have grown even closer.
I wouldn't call it a weakness.
You haven't told anyone about that thing, have you?
No.
Huh? What thing?
My adoration for cats. And my cat allergies.
I haven't told anyone. We made a promise.
You better be telling the truth.
Why would I lie?
It is true. Halara, you should trust me more.
You know I don't trust humans.
You have said that before. Why are you so mistrusting? There's no way you being a detective fully explains it.
True.
That's none of your concern.
But I'd like to know if there's a reason why.
I'm not telling.
Halara is so stubborn. But I still have a card I can play.
Press on the cats. Let's do it.
But you don't want me to tell anyone about the cat thing, right?
Is that a threat?
I'm joking. I want to know as much as I can about my coworkers here at the agency.
Hey Atlas, how you doing?
But I'm not going to force you to say something if you don't want to.
Fine. As long as you continue keeping quiet about the cats, I will tell you.
Are you sure?
It's nothing interesting, mind you. When I was young, I didn't suspect others like I do today. You could say I was pure and innocent.
Halara, pure and innocent. Absolute devil with money. Extortion. Literally is an extortionist. Sick as a dog, but okay. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, but at least you're okay.
I never doubted what people told me.
But
Whenever someone lied, I thought they had no other choice. I truly believed that.
A pure and innocent Halara? I can't even begin to imagine it.
exactly, Shinigami.
Something made me change during middle school. My parents were caught in a scam. It was a common investment scam where they thought they were investing in stocks. Fortunately, it didn't bring total financial ruin to our family.
But
However, this led to my father becoming utterly depressed, and his relationship with my mother suffered, which resulted in a so-called broken home.
I see.
Are you disappointed by this boring story?
no.
No, it's not that.
I was about to say, actually, I'm not disappointed by her story.
Well, the event itself isn't important. What matters is the culprit.
The culprit? Was the culprit a relative?
No, that's not it. The culprit who scammed my parents was my best friend.
Oops.
What? But didn't you say this happened when you were in middle school?
That's correct. In that sense, my friend was a precocious con artist. My so-called friend used clever ploys to extract information from me, then used it to scam my parents. In the end, I was the one who destroyed our family. It was my fault.
Is that why she overcharges? So that way she can rebuild the financial strain that she feels bad?
I don't think that's the case, Halara.
No. It was the direct result of my overly optimistic outlook on life. Once it was all over, I made my decision. People will always betray other people. Humans are not to be trusted. I chose to never believe in another person again.
So that's Halara's origin story.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize it'd be this serious. I shouldn't have threatened you like that. Even joking.
Don't look at me like that. It may be a bitter memory, but learning what I value as a detective at such an early age was for my own good. We can't expect innate goodness from those we interact with daily. That is simply impossible because of that experience. I'm unfazed when I see one person betraying another.
And unfazed asking people to pay a lot of money.
Halara is shrugging it off like some joke. That profile, that face seems to feel nothing. But I think there's melancholy and sorrow in that expression.
Master, you and Halara seem to have grown even closer.
Halara asked for me, so I'm at the cafe. Halara? Did you want something from me?
Do you really have to ask? It's about your debt, obviously. Well, how do you plan on paying me back?
With nothing?
Sorry.
Well, you can't do anything but apologize.
It appears you have no repayment plan in place. If you don't change that soon, I will consider implementing interest.
Please don't.
Then you better come up with a plan to pay me back.
All right. But if all you wanted to talk about was my debt, why'd you invite me here? We could have gone over it at the agency.
Yeah.
I don't want you to grow accustomed to owing me. People lose their sense of urgency in paying back debts when complacent. That's why I'm reminding you right now.
I see. It's not my place to say since I'm the one in debt here, but don't you make enough money as a detective, Halara? You're always trying to make more. What do you need all that money for anyway?
I'm alright. I'm alright. Is it to put give the money back to her parents?
I suppose I can tell you.
Huh?
If I continue to save at this rate, I will be able to create a program in about 6 years.
Oh?
That is what the money is for.
A program?
A program that will save 30% of all cats around the world experiencing hardship.
That was not what I was expecting Halara to say.
What? Oh, That caught me so off guard that I don't know what to say. You want to start a charity?
No, not a charity. This is all for my personal satisfaction.
No. It's not a worthy cause for me. I'm sorry. If it was puppies, on the other hand, very good doggies.
Cats provide a healing experience, so I want to give back to them in some way. That's all.
That's amazing! How wonderful!
Enough. As I said, this is all for my personal satisfaction. I don't want to hear your praise for it.
I don't mind cats, but I'm in the same boat as Halara. I'm allergic to them, so...
Oh, but if it's so important, why did you tell me? I didn't even threaten you or anything.
Yes, about that. I'm sure you already know this, but... a detective can lose their life at any moment.
Yeah, you did teach me that.
Yeah, exactly. That's not valid. I love that.
So if I were to die, I want you to carry out this plan for me.
What?
I've been thinking it over for a while. I figured this was a good time to tell you.
What is this 180?
Huh? Why me, though?
I'm not sure myself. Why do you think?
Replace the debt I owe?
Does this replace the debt I owe you?
Probably not, though.
Don't insult me. I wouldn't choose you as my successor for such a foolish reason.
Oof!
Oh, really? Looks like I was wrong. In that case...
I'm trustworthy.
Could it be that it's because you trust me? I hope I'm not assuming too much there.
Incorrect. No matter who it is, I will not trust any human.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say, actually, no.
So it is not accurate to say, I trust you.
I see.
However, I wouldn't mind being betrayed by you. Or rather, I would accept a betrayal at your hands.
What?
Huh? Isn't that practically the same as trusting me?
In my mind, it's entirely different. I don't trust you.
Okay.
What is this? What is this thinking?
But the way you said you wouldn't mind if I betrayed you, that makes me way happier than if you just said you trusted me.
What?
Anyway, we were discussing something else. You will pay your debt to me in full.
Yeah, I know.
Master, you and Halara have forged the ultimate bond together. Good for you, Master. I'm happy for you.
Where is my whatever it's called, Blue Feather and Avalon? Hello, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome on in, Raiders. For some of you who, well, let me try again. It's been a while, so I no longer have a script. I guess I need to make a new one. Welcome on in. My name is Ravetail Brightwolf, and I am a variety streamer here in the UK. So, in terms of variety games, I play a bit of everything. I play story-based games, as in like games with a story in it. I do story-driven games, some simulations, and also visual novels, like this one. So we are currently playing Master Detective Archives, RAINCODE. We're just doing a few memory scenes between the character we played as and then a few of the detectives. Then we will be moving on to Pokemon Mystery Dungeon and a bit of Persona 4. So I hope you're cool with all that. Okay, so sub-story. Raining Cats and Dog. The Nocturnal Detective Agency receives a request to investigate an unusual drowning. Was it suicide or murder? Will Master Detective Halara be able to solve this odd and onerous case? Onerous? Okay.
Halara, do you know where the milk I put in the fridge went? I was saving it for my coffee.
Beats me.
That's my seat, you know.
How much?
Huh?
How much do you want for it? I'll pay your asking price. Well?
You gotta be kidding. Fine. Just keep sitting there.
I will.
Huh? Someone's coming. I wasn't expecting guests today.
You don't seem to be a bird,
This
though.
way. It's a bit cramped in here.
Are you the chief of the Nocturnal Detective Agency? My name is Tetra. Pleased to meet you.
I'm the chief. That's just one of our detectives.
Oh, excuse me. Your detective was sitting at the biggest desk here, so I assumed that...
My seat gets stolen the moment I leave it open. Let's sit down.
I was told you investigate murders.
Yes.
A murder case. It's possible for us to handle it, but what we can or can't do depends on whether or not the peacekeepers have already gone through it.
I see. My father passed away in a rather bizarre manner. The peacekeepers declared it was an accidental death.
Oh, are we going to be able to use post-cognition again?
But I just can't believe it was an accident.
The peacekeepers usually try to declare any unnatural deaths as accidents. Why do you suspect that it wasn't one?
My father kept tropical fish as a hobby. One morning, he was found dead, drowned with his head stuck in the fish tank.
That does sound like a murder.
Do you really think that could be an accident?
He drowned with his head stuck in a fish tank? Can you describe the situation?
The fish tank is set rather low, so you can view it from above. My father was in a kneeling position, with his head dunked into the water.
There is no way this was not a suicide or an accidental death. Come on.
That sure is bizarre. What did the peacekeepers have to say?
They say he was electrocuted, and passed out when he touched the temperature control switch with wet hands.
If he was electrocuted, did he have any scorch marks?
And he fell into the water and drowned, unfortunately.
Are you sure the cause of death was drowning?
Water balls in Combron. Oh god. Nah, if the thing is, if the body straight away, if he was electrocuted, I'm sure he would have scorch marks on his body.
Yes, that appears to be the case without a doubt. A trustworthy doctor did the autopsy.
Trustworthy, in quotations.
I see. From what you've said, you can't really deny that it could have been an accident.
I'm denying it was an accident because you didn't mention scorch marks.
No, the problem is the room where my father passed away. It was obvious that someone else had rummaged around.
There we go. There's another bit of information that will help.
What do you mean?
Well, the room has lots of tropical fish tanks lined up.
How many are we talking about?
But on the day my father died, all of them were shattered to pieces. And of course, there was water and dead fish all over the floor. Someone must have forced their way into the room to do something so terrible. I believe my father was murdered by whoever did that. This must be a murder. Please uncover the truth of my father's death.
What do you think, Halara?
I'm not using VTuber, guys, so double. Oops.
Beats me. I wasn't paying attention.
Don't lie. There's no way you couldn't hear us.
You can assume I don't exist, unless pay is involved.
I knew that was coming.
I can pay. My father left me an inheritance.
Oh, don't mind my detective. Our rates are always reasonable here.
Except Halara.
Then you'll investigate this case on my behalf?
Huh? Yes, of course. As detectives sworn to protect this town, we can't leave any mysteries unsolved.
Thank you. I'm so happy I worked up the courage to come here.
The Nocturnal Detective Agency is here to protect the peace of Kanai Ward. You can always count on us.
Can I count on Furio though?
As for investigating this case, we'll check out the crime scene soon. Promise. Jeez.
That was rather reckless of you to promise.
It's not like I have a choice. I can't just abandon people in need.
You could.
I'm Yaku Furio, chief of the Nocturnal Detective Agency. I gotta protect this town.
Do you even have a single lead to solve this case?
What? Of course. I'm a detective after all.
Did she give you all the clues you needed?
If I proceed with the investigation, I'm sure I can find some kind of clue. But I'll need your help, Halara.
Yes, this is Persona type of vibes because it's obviously visual novel based, like how Persona is in a sense. But it isn't Persona. Pretty much.
That depends on the payment.
You know I don't have a lot of money.
And you know that I don't work for cheap.
Then, how about a deal instead?
Oh, here comes the deal.
What deal?
If you solve this case, I'll let you keep a cat here.
How did he figure out about a cat?
Really?
Yes, really.
How did he figure out about the cat?
Hey, where are you going?
To the crime scene.
She's allergic!
Hold on. The client just left. Why don't you wait until tomorrow?
Fine. I shall review the case's records until then.
But, yeah, but no one else should know. Only Yuma has supposed to have known.
Halara's fee is cheaper than I thought.
Oh, that's where the gumshoe gap comes into. Raining cats and dog. I think, yeah. So I think that's where the Gab comes from. You know how Halara's like, you haven't told anyone about my love for cats and my allergies. I think this is what it links to them.
Thank you for coming. You really are willing to investigate the case.
Well, that's our duty at the Nocturnal Detective Agency. Your house is pretty big. Your father must have been well off.
Oh, don't talk about that!
Yes. My father owned a medical devices company. He contributed to Conai Ward's medical advancements for years. I simply can't believe he met his end like this.
We'll find justice for him.
Thank you. I am in your debt. This is my fiancé, Jaren. We've been living together for about a year now.
Probably coming from the fact it's not placed at any specific time compared to the story, so you display knowledge, not character knowledge. Adds a lot of jump. Touché!
Nice to meet you. I'd like to ask you more about the details later, but can we take a look at the scene for now? Oh, before that, do you have a photo of your father?
Cases of inventory, for example. Yeah. Somewhat.
Of course. Here's a picture from when he was still alive.
Thank you. Halara, over here. I'll leave the investigation to you. It's a bit too cramped for all of us to be wandering about. I'll keep speaking to them outside. Talk to me when you're done.
Understood.
Yay! More post-cognition!
Now, time to review the cards I've been dealt.
You definitely want to remember this.
Oh, we're not doing post-cognition yet. That is a hazard if I ever saw one. Look at that! Look at that! That is a hazard! An extension being plugged into an extension! What the f...
What is this? There is a stain here that looks like a horizontal line.
Look. I get it if it's for computers and stuff like that, cause you have to. Well, you don't have to do it, but I understand computers can do it. But the fact that fire safety rave. No, I'm not fire safety. I'm at least food safety. Which is ironic, considering I have food poisoning by accident. I mean, can I say by... yeah, by accident. Well, it wasn't my fault, though, because I had... I just... yeah, I just... was ill. That was it, I'm afraid. Anyway, let's get back.
Upon close inspection, there appears to be a faint outline of the same stain along all 4 walls.
It suggests that the fish tanks were all on. I'm not trying to hide anything. I just I had no idea how to explain it.
Right.
There's some stains on the floor. It's likely due to the water spill from fish tanks. Other than that, nothing else seems suspicious. You can think it's suspicious all you want, but as I said...
It's a regular sliding window with a crescent lock. There are no suspicious marks on it.
But it looks like it's open.
There's a small veranda outside. We're on the second floor, so any rain that falls off the eaves flows to the drain. An ordinary vent. There's some blue paint on the inner side of the frame. Looks like something rubbed against it. This may have something to do with the case.
There's a lot of blue. Double D, double da.
I see.
The equipment and food for a tropical fish are placed together. Seems like nothing has been used since the incident. There's some dust.
All of the fish tanks have been shattered. There's broken glass scattered on the inside, which means it's certain someone smashed it inward. Why would someone do this?
The fish did it. They are the murderers. Dummy. Dummy. Wolfie. Deer. If the fish did it, the glass would be outwards, not inwards. Also, have you noticed your name now? Is there anything else I haven't seen yet? You got a tick, you got a tick, you got a tick. They broke in from the outside in because of self-defense from a person! Oh no, as in like the person was trying and destroy, so he was able to breathe? But yeah, dummy, as I said, did you notice your name?
There is a sticky substance stuck to the door frame. Perhaps tape residue?
I'm no dork. I've investigated the things of note, but... Are we not going to use...
That's about all I can investigate for now.
Are we not gonna... I'm not adorable dork, and I'm not adorkable. Am I not go... Oh no, it's because it's the... I forgot, Halara's post-cognition is I can see what the first person sees after a person's death. So whoever discovered the body, they'd be the first person...
I should go talk to our clients before I observe the crime scene at the time the body was discovered. The crime scene has been inspected, Chief.
Thanks.
There are a few things I'd like to confirm.
Yes, please ask me anything.
Who was the first one in the room after the murder?
Can you give me the details of when you discovered the body?
It was, I think, around 6 in the morning. My father usually woke up early for breakfast, but when I went to get him, he wasn't in his room.
Okay.
So I looked around and noticed Sugar barking at this room.
Sugar is...
Sugar?
That's the name of our dog.
That is almost the most realistic dog you can have in a game in comparison to, like, comic-like... It just looks ridiculous slightly, but it's kind of funny.
Hey! Sugar sure is happy. She's rarely friendly with anyone.
She barks at me all the time.
There, there.
Shall we continue?
Oh, sorry. Sugar was barking in front of the room, so I opened the door to take a look.
Does that mean the dog is the first one to witness the murder?
There I saw my father. His head was in the fish tank. He was already gone.
Oh shit! So how are we gonna see the murder? Are we gonna see it in the eyes of a dog or the eyes of a...
I heard her scream and ran over, but what I saw took my breath away. The fish tanks were all destroyed. The floor was covered with water.
Darling, it was not the fish.
All the tropical fish Father loved were scattered across the floor, dead.
Were they valuable?
I'm not sure. I don't know how much they were worth, but the fact is, my father cared for them a great deal.
If the fish were expensive, do you think someone tried to steal them?
I didn't say the fish that saw him saw him dead. I said, are we going to see either the dog or the daughter?
Are you implying my father's murder was an afterthought?
Well, I'm just considering possibilities.
If they were going to steal the fish, I doubt they'd smash the tanks.
But Sugar, it said Sugar was barking at the door. I opened the door, and then I saw my father. But that's where it's gonna confuse me. Did she slightly open the door, then Sugar ran in, and then saw the room first, making the dog the first person? Well, not the first being. I think it has to be a person, not the first being, for Halara's forte. But I could be mistaken.
You're right.
Do you know the estimated time of death for the victim?
It's a personal description of a full situation, yeah.
I believe it was around 10 o'clock the night before.
When was the last time you saw him alive?
Right around 7 that night. I ate dinner with him. He went to his room after that.
According to peacekeepers, the victim died around 10 PM.
Does anyone else live here?
It's just me and him now. The servant left after making dinner before 7.
Ooh.
Tell me, what were you doing around 10 that night?
After finishing dinner with my father, I did some cleaning and washed the dishes. Jaren came to the dining hall around 8 for dinner. And then we watched TV in the living room until around midnight.
Yes. I know for certain we were together between 8 and midnight.
Did you ever get up during that time? Such as to go to the bathroom?
I don't think so.
Were there any screams or sounds of a struggle around 10 at night?
Probably not.
No, not at all.
I see. That leaves me wondering who entered that room, when they did, and why they smashed all the fish tanks. The fish tanks are large and have thick glass. You'd think you'd hear them being smashed.
True. All I know for certain is that we didn't hear anything like that.
Well, were you watching it? What sort of movies were you watching?
Do you often come in and out of this room?
Oh my god, there's so much more evidence and there's so much more evidence in comparison to the last one. Fubuki's was much easier than this. What the fuck?
Not at all. Only my father used this room.
What did the peacekeepers have to say when they saw the state of things in the room?
I'm gonna try and figure out the option myself, but I need to listen to more evidence first.
They said my father was stressed out. That he lost control and smashed all the tanks himself.
Okay, but if he smashed the tanks and then he tried committing suicide, that means there was no water in the tank to even electrocute himself. So that can't be it, for starters.
Was he actually stressed out?
Truth be told, my father was lamenting over a prized tropical fish he had accidentally killed that morning.
Oh.
I thought he could have done something extreme, given how much he regretted his mistake.
He did look rather depressed.
Still, my mild-mannered father would never do something like this.
Did you notice anything strange about your father during dinner?
The fact he was eating humans. I mean, no.
He was sad about the fish, but he ate normally. I didn't notice anything in particular.
I actually wonder what other proper foods these homunculi had. Because I know the meat buns were processed humans. Especially from, like, death row and what have you. I don't think... I still can't... It's still not suicide. It can't be. It has to be a murder.
It's hard to think he was so distraught that he'd smash all the tanks on his own.
You're right. But that's what the peacekeepers told us happened.
I'll take another look around. For now, I'd like to ask you to leave the room.
So you're gonna do that thing, yeah? I'm counting on you.
Here we go.
Let's wait outside.
So, I have a so, if I'm lower,
The trump card is still face down.
yeah, so you may have disappeared from the stream, but I might as if you weren't here and you're interested in playing this game, I'd cover your ears for about 2-3 minutes. Actually, not 2 minutes, but I'll give it about 30 seconds. So I'm gonna imagine you close your ears in case you want to play this game for yourself, ignore the side stories and what have you. But in the last chapter, you don't have a console to have it play. That's fair. But yeah, during the last chapter, we found out that everyone in Kanai Ward are homunculi, and in order for them to sustain the nutrients, keep their genes going, they could only eat human flesh. And in the last chapter, there was a processing plant that made meat buns, which were in the trucks. But those meat buns were obviously made out of humans, and those people were linked with the WDO, the World Detective Organization, because Yuma and the head of Amaterasu were homunculi. It seems like it. But anyway, so Yuma, the character you play, and Makoto are the identical pair as number 1 of the World Detective Organization. And what Makoto was doing was acting as number 1, as well as the head of the Amaterasu Corporation. They made a deal to get criminals off death row, but by taking criminals off death row, they were taken to processing plants, killed, frozen, made it into meat buns for the homunculi to eat. And this is why the clouds have been made, why it always rains. Because homunculi, when affected by the light, they go into a frenzy. And they would kill people. There was something called the Blank Week, where everyone lost their memories about a week. Because the original humans of Kanai Ward were all killed by homunculi. Which explains why the bloods of every single resident that was murdered was pink. Because that was homunculi blood. Which is kind of funny, because you know some Japanese games and stuff like that censor. And like Danganronpa, their censor for blood was using pink. So they incorporated a censor so brilliantly, and said, "Oh, it happened to be pink." So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. But if you want to watch the understanding a bit better, it will be like part 9 to part 13 of the archives that I'm doing on YouTube. It hasn't been uploaded yet, but Danganronpa also has We Replace Your Blood While You Were Asleep. Yep, they do.
Time to use my post-cognition to see how things were at the time the body was first discovered.
Because Team DR also are referred to as Spike Chunsoft. They created 999, VLDR, and Zero Time Dilemma. But the blood was red. So, talking about that, I actually need to redo the Virtue's Last Reward series, so I've got to do all that at some point. Here we go. So what view are we in? Even in post-cognition, traces of sticky substance are on the frame, or some kind of tape stuck on.
The victim's body is kneeling against the edge of a fish tank, with his head inside.
Oh, here we are! There's some markings on his neck, but it doesn't look like it's scorch marks.
Like the other tanks, this one is smashed up too. Looking closely, he is soaking wet. It'd make sense if it was just his upper body, but for his whole body to be soaked is unusual.
So in that case, he has had been murdered first, and then the tank smashed into him. Unless he was used as like a battering ram. It seems the stain on the walls were present when the body was found. I don't see any particular differences. No, the stains are darker than they are currently. Does that mean they were made around this time? I don't think he was chokes, because Halara hasn't picked up, like, choke marks.
It's not locked. Anyone can come and go through here.
I was going to say the door was unlocked, I remember.
Perhaps this is how the culprit entered the place. There's a dead tropical fish in the drain on the veranda.
Did that get washed away?
Why would that be there? There are dead tropical fish everywhere. The whole floor is completely drenched.
Duh, of course. So the room had to be underwater. They unlocked the door to get the water out of the drain, and that tropical fish that was outside was somehow outside before. And when the door was open to release, to get rid of the water, that fish must have been washed away within that drain.
I see.
The time the body was found, many things were scattered around. Could this sort of mess be caused by just a broken fish tank? Not one, but multiple.
I see.
All tanks seem to have been smashed inward. There's not much difference from the room in its present state. Anything else I'm missing? So we've got the door, we've got the lamp. The lamp's been knocked over. I think this is the dog's view. Maybe. Ah, the vent. We're missing the vent.
The paint stuck on the frame can be seen here.
Even through posts of the rubber marks on what looks like blue paint were on the inside of the frame.
I'm beginning to see the truth behind this case. That's all the investigating I need to do for now.
I don't know what it is right now. I need information.
Are you done?
Hello, doggy.
The dog has something in her mouth.
Hey, Sugar!
What's this?
That's Sugar's favorite toy. It's just a rubber hose tied up in a knot.
A breathing tube?
Ever since she was a puppy, Sugar has loved playing tug-of-war with a rubber hose. So I still make toys out of hoses like this. But I don't think I made one for her recently. Where did she get it from?
That would have to be a breathing tube, then.
Wow, that's interesting. Let me take a look.
Wait, don't touch it.
What's wrong?
Put that in a plastic bag without touching it directly. I believe it's evidence.
That's evidence?
Consider it a precaution.
How's the investigation going?
Yeah, that would have to be a breathing tube.
Are the peacekeepers right? Did my father pass away due to an accident?
No.
Or was it...
Yeah.
The answer is clear. This was no accident, but a murder.
Huh? Really?
But who's the culprit?
What makes you think it's a murder?
My thinking.
It's the window, the fish tank's the window. It's gotta be the walls, because the walls is the most suspicious. The walls are wet. No, they're sticky. So wet then.
No, it's not enough to disprove the theory that it was an accident. Reviewing it more carefully.
The fish tanks then, because they've been broken. They were shattered.
The victim died with his head in the fish tank. Is that right?
Yes, that is certain.
As you can see, this fish tank was destroyed like all the others. That is far too strange. It means something logically impossible occurred.
Impossible? What do you mean?
I shouldn't have to explain it.
If the victim was dead, how did the tank shatter?
If the victim drowned with his head in the tank, then it had to be filled with water. But as you can see, the fish tank is destroyed, meaning it is unable to contain water. Like with the other tanks, the water spilled out when it was smashed, emptying it.
Wait, you said the body was all wet as well.
So how could the victim drown in a fish tank that held no water?
Oh, now that you mention it.
Okay, I get it. So all the fish tanks were smashed. The room became a waterlogged, became a prison, essentially, for water. The victim somehow drowned. But how did they drown? Because they could... Because the victim can stand up. Because the water is about chest height. Exactly.
The peacekeepers claim the victim was disoriented and smashed the fish tanks himself. But if the victim was still alive when he smashed the fish tanks, it would have been impossible for him to have drowned. In other words, the victim was drowned, then placed next to the fish tank to make it seem like an accident.
So,
The culprit must have believed this camouflage would be enough to fool the peacekeepers.
but the peacekeepers are lazy.
So my father was murdered.
Yes, there is no mistake about it. This...
Hold on. If the culprit wanted to make the victim look like he drowned, why did they destroy the fish tank? Didn't they realize their cover would be blown? And plus, all the fish tanks were destroyed, not just that one.
It must have been part of their plan for the peacekeepers to overlook this contradiction. However, destroying the tanks required a lot of effort. If the culprit did so despite the contradiction it created...
Drowned him underneath his... No, but the victim has not drowned in one tank. It was the room that was the tank.
Then we have to assume there was an unavoidable reason behind it.
An unavoidable reason.
The room was taped.
So, who is the culprit?
I must investigate further to find that out. I'll report back once I find the answer.
Oh shit, if the room was taped... Oh, what the hell's going on? Okay. If the room was taped, it had to be taped from the inside because remember, it said the door was taped. And it was revealed that during the investigation and post-cognition, which would suggest that he did it himself. But that's impossible, so unless someone else... Oh god, so... Is it a the butler did it scenario?
Yes, please.
Has anyone outside your family entered or left the house recently?
I don't think so.
Were there any tradesmen who came to work on your place?
I can't think of any.
Allow me to change the question. Have you recently done any remodeling or repairs to the home?
Oh, now that you mention it. The rain gutters on the roof were broken, so Jaren fixed them.
It was Jiren!
He fixed the rain gutters?
Yes, he's an avid DIYer. He not only fixed the broken parts, but also checked the gutters around the whole building, which was a lot of work.
I figured it out! I figured it out! Jaren is the murderer. He somehow fixed the gutters into the vents. The vents somehow... the water went into the vent. Somehow the water affected the paint, and it went inside the vent frame. So he would have had to kill all... But the door was locked. I'm missing something. I'm missing a part of a puzzle. I'm missing a part of this murder solution. I'm missing a part of the fucking puzzle. Ah! What is the part I'm missing? The door was locked. How would he have locked the door? Son of a bitch! I did check everything, cause Halara said we were done with it. So, yeah. That is true, actually, because we haven't gone outside, so maybe that's why...
I see. That concludes my investigation.
Also, I saw Doggy own. Also, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Go back, go back, go fucking back. Enlarge. It looks like the gutter is in the vents from this angle, unless the vent is down slightly. Good night. Anyway.
What? Are you sure that's enough?
Catch you another time, Fury.
Jeez, you're always off in your own world. I'm sorry about that. Our ace detective isn't very friendly.
I can't enhance more. Doggy you them.
That being said, I believe this case will be solved soon. Please be patient for just a bit longer.
Thank you.
I can't enhance!
Halara, just as you suspected, it could be the fiancé.
It is the fiancé.
Jaren has been living in the client's home and mooching off her since he got fired from his job a year back. He's in quite a lot of debt, too. At one point, he was spending almost all his time in casinos. He kept asking the client's father for money, but was always denied. Seems the father was also against their marriage.
So money is the motive.
Isn't money always the motive? Money is the motive. Sounds like someone else who's like, hello, I like money.
If the father were to die, the daughter would inherit everything. So if he married her, the money would be his.
Kiwi, what's that supposed to mean?
Makes sense. The thing is, that man has an alibi. The victim's estimated time of death is 10 at night. There's no mistake that Jaren was with the client at that time.
I don't know what that means.
Makes no sense to suspect Tetra, since she's our client. So we have to assume his alibi is airtight.
Right. I agree.
His alibi is perfect. Not only was he with Tetra at 10, but he was also with her for 2 hours before and after. So, as it stands, it's impossible for him to have killed the victim.
No, it isn't.
No, the alibi isn't a problem. It's possible if a certain trick was used.
A trick?
But I still lack hard evidence. Perhaps it's worth rolling the dice here.
Hey, are you sure about this?
We'll make our move tonight. Let's go to the client.
But yeah, I don't know what you mean, Kiwi. Depends on the mood. The worse the mood, the sweeter the taste. The better the mood, the lighter the taste. The flavour of Halara's candy. I actually got some lollipops I want as well.
Is it true that you know the truth behind this case?
That's right, miss. Allow me to explain. The key detail for this case is the victim's cause of death. Without a doubt, the victim died by drowning. But making it look like he drowned in the fish tank was camouflage. Why would such a thing even be needed? Because it secured the killer's alibi.
You said that the victim's time of death was around 10 p.m. In other words, the culprit secured their alibi at the same time as they murdered the victim. Is that really possible?
Yes.
Through a certain trick, it was possible to drown the victim even if the culprit wasn't there.
Drown him without being there?
The trick the culprit used was...
The vents. He flooded the room.
a method that can't disprove the alibi. Think carefully.
Oh? It's not the vent? The vent? Oh yeah, sorry, they sealed the room because of the sellotape.
A method that can't disprove the alibi. Think carefully.
Apparently it isn't that. I was going to say, in that case, it's got to be the hose then. And then flooded the room, right?
First, it involves this rubber hose.
There we are, yeah.
That's Sugar's toy.
If you untie the knot, it returns to being a hose. This was what was first used in the crime.
How was it used? Don't tell me that's the murder weapon.
If you check the vent, you'll see the color of paint scraped on there matches the hose.
Oh.
It was likely passed through the vent.
Someone put the hose in the vent. Why would anyone do that?
It's nothing special. The hose was simply used for its original purpose.
Its original purpose?
Breathing?
One end of the hose was placed on the edge of the rain gutter on the veranda side.
Nope, I'm not cutie. And I'm not that incredible or that amazing.
Prior to this, the culprit adjusted the rain gutter so that the hose could be inserted into it. The rainwater from the gutter passed through the hose, filling the room.
Huh? What do you mean? Halara, you think this place got flooded with rainwater?
No! It gave me! No! No! Shut up! Kitty! No!
That would drench the whole place.
No! Guys! No! Ah!
When the body was found, the room was, in fact, drenched.
But that was because of the broken fish tanks, right?
That's part of it. But the main reason was due to rainwater pouring into the enclosed room.
Wait, what do you mean?
Denying nothing,
What's the
but
point in filling this
guys!
room with rainwater?
Guys! Please! Behave!
The culprit's goal was to secure their own alibi at the estimated time of death. This trick was necessary for that.
I don't get it. Can you explain from the beginning?
Yes, behave!
Let's go over what the culprit did on the day of the crime in order.
No, I'm not! And again, no! Hush!
First, the culprit mixed sleeping pills into the victim's dinner. While the victim was asleep, the culprit proceeded to prepare the trick.
Sleeping pills in his food? That reminds me. My father did seem sleepy shortly after eating dinner.
After dinner, the victim likely went to his room to lay down. The culprit then sneaked into his room and carried him out while he was asleep. That was how the victim was transported to this room.
At this point, you're sure he was still alive?
Of course. If the culprit murdered the victim earlier, then their alibi wouldn't have worked. The culprit had to murder him in such a way that would secure their alibi. The preparations were done in this room. After bringing the victim here, the culprit used duct tape on the gap near the door to weather strip it.
Weather strip? What's that?
It prevents water from leaking outside.
What do you mean?
Let me explain. After weather stripping the door, the culprit started destroying the fish tanks. The culprit likely covered them with cloth to dampen the noise. Once he smashed all of them, he leaned the victim onto the fish tank. The culprit then moved to the window on the veranda and weather stripped the outside of it. Finally, they took the hose connected to the rain gutter and passed it through the vent to the inside of the room. Preparations in place, the culprit left through the veranda and returned to the mansion as if nothing had happened.
How does that complete everything? The victim was still alive at the time, right? When was he murdered?
The victim naturally drowned after being left alone for several hours.
How's that?
The rainwater from the rubber hose flooded the room in a few hours. The whole room was turned into a fish tank, this time filled with rainwater. And that is how the victim drowned.
The whole room was flooded?
No, look at the watermarks.
That can't be.
The proof lies in the stained walls. The day of the murder, the room must have been filled to that line with rainwater.
Rainwater killed the victim?
Correct. Only in this city could such an approach be possible. The rain never stops in Kanai Ward. This makes it easy to estimate the amount of rainfall to a certain degree. So it is not impossible to create this alibi trick with some calculation.
I think that's a bit of a stretch. Wouldn't it take at least half a day for the room to fill with enough rainwater to drown the victim?
I'm sure it would require more rainwater than usual to accomplish it. Which means you'd need to gather all the rain falling around this giant mansion.
Gather all of it how?
Using the, whatever it's called, the, gutters.
It would require slight adjustments to the rain gutters. After that, the rainwater would flow to the veranda.
Adjustments to the rain gutters?
There would be plenty of water if all of the rain that pours upon the mansion is rerouted to this room. That explains how the culprit secured their alibi while drowning the victim. In the morning, before the body was found, they removed the weather stripping and drained the water through the veranda. If you check the drain in the veranda, you should find dead tropical fish that were carried out with the rainwater.
There we go.
The culprit smashed the tanks beforehand to prevent rainwater from being stored inside. Well, that's how I would have done it. But maybe the culprit didn't realize that before they started draining the water. Seeing the fish tanks filled with rainwater, the culprit panicked and smashed all of the glass to hide the evidence. They must have carelessly broken the one fish tank the corpse was leaning on in the process. Isn't that how it went, Jaren? I'll be direct. You are the culprit.
Hold on. Is this some kind of joke?
No, it isn't.
Why would I kill my father-in-law? That's stupid.
But you were fixing the rain gutters a few days before the incident.
Oops.
That's because you asked me to fix them.
Oh, wrong button.
How does fixing some stuff pin me as the culprit? That's crazy talk!
So you intend on maintaining that you're not the culprit?
Of course!
Then we'll have to ask our little friend for the answer. Come here, Sugar. This is the rubber hose used for the trick. There are scrapes on its surface. That's the proof. I'm sure the culprit tried to dispose of it, tying it into a knot before throwing it away. But our friend here found it for us. Good girl, Sugar. Only the culprit has directly touched the rubber hose. I'm certain his scent is still on it. Tell us, Sugar, who do you smell on this?
So, it is you.
This is complete nonsense. I won't accept it. If I have to, I'll kill all of you.
Hey, don't tell me that you're really...
I was so close to getting all that money. Calm down. Kate! Why me?
Because you're useless. I mean...
I can kill the woman anytime. I'll start off with you. Damn you, detectives. This is your fault for sticking your nose into my life.
Oh, Sugar!
Can you handle this on your own, Chief?
I'm pretty bad at this sort of thing. Please help.
Shut up! I'll kill you!
Aha! Halara and her 1 Xian coin. Fucking yeesin.
I never thought it would be like this. What am I supposed to do?
You're not alone.
Huh?
That's what she's saying.
If you ever need help, come to us. The Nocturnal Detective Agency will always be at your service.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, Yakko talks too much. He's too wimpy.
As promised, you can keep that cat here.
I don't need your help. That's what the cat is saying.
Come on, this cat thinks it's some sort of hard-boiled detective? Well, I suppose I don't mind.
This city is a difficult place to live, even for the animals.
Oh yeah, what is it? It's like the stereotypical movie and the stereotypical video games where it's evil monologue.
Right. I hope we can keep solving the mysteries here to make this city a better place. And make it a nicer place for them to live too.
I sincerely hope so.
You're so cold to humans, but you like animals.
Are you teasing me?
See, there you go again, making that scary face. Seeing you play with the cat, you look kinda cute. It sure would be nice to see more of that smile around here. I hope you keep using your powers to change this city. I know you can do it. For their sake, too.
That depends on the payment.
Come on. Well, how's this? Consider it the reward for this case. And maybe you could ask for permission next time.
Me not cute.
Thanks.
But I'm doing okay, I guess. Just a little bit cold right now. It's, what, -2 here at the moment, but Real Feel has it clocked at -4. I was going to say, was Jaren Sean Chiplock? Was it Sean Chiplock? I was going to say, it sounds like Sean Chiplock. It was Sean Chiplock.